Hey guys, it's Frey, and today I want to talk about which chatbot is the best for writing cold emails. My full-time job involves a lot of cold emails, and if you're in sales, you probably have the same situation going on. You're trying to find different levers or different things about the individual that you can include to build that rapport. So in this video, we're going to test 3 different chatbots. We have, of course, ChatGPT, we have Copy.ai, and we have Perplexity.ai. If you haven't heard of the last two, Copy.ai was very early in the whole AI scene. I actually made a video on them 2 years ago now when they were running off GPT-3. And Perplexity.ai is one that I stumbled upon recently. Their whole thing is they are making search more personal. Now, when it comes to sales, you definitely want to appear like you know the person that you're reaching out to. You want to make them feel like your services or your product is specifically designed for people just like them. So in this video, we're going to be testing those 3 different chatbots. Now, the way I'm going to test this is by doing a quick experiment. Now, the goal is to feed each chatbot a LinkedIn URL where we are going to ask it to scan the person and tell us everything that they know about that lead or that prospect. And then from the information that that chatbot can detect, we are going to turn that into a cold email where it looks and feels and sounds way more personal, like we're their friend, asking them if they'd be interested in our product or service. Here are some of the prompts that I created. The first prompt is really just to say, tell me everything you know about this LinkedIn URL. And I copy and paste a URL for a lead or prospect. In this case, I'm just going to use my own. I'm going to be testing each chatbot based on how accurate it can read the LinkedIn URL, because that is the first step of creating an introduction. So for the first prompt, ChatGPT has gotten a lot of things wrong. First of all, it says that I'm in San Francisco. I'm the head of business operations at Mercury. Never worked there. McKinsey & Corp as a consultant. I have a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Berkeley. Basically, ChatGPT has made me sound way more accomplished than I actually am. I mean, as much as I want that to be true, it's not. You know, I went to a state school and I don't have an MBA, so it is what it is. You know, this problem is one of the biggest criticisms with ChatGPT right now, which is that oftentimes it hallucinates, which is what people call in the industry, but it basically means that it's just wrong. It's flat out incorrect. Not a great start for ChatGPT. Now let's check Copy.ai. So here it's scanning my LinkedIn. Education, University of Riverside, degree in business administration. Skills, sales, business development lead gen. It says, overall, Frey appears to be a sales development representative with a background in e-commerce and a strong interest in AI. He's worked for companies such as Sage Intacct, Copy.ai, and Tastemaker Supply. All right, so Copy.ai actually got a lot of things correct. I will say the education part is wrong. Pretty much all the other skills and this little summary at the very end is accurate, which means that Copy.ai is able to read pretty accurately some of my LinkedIn page. So now we're going to try Perplexity.ai, but let's go ahead and create a new thread. The provided LinkedIn URL leads to the profile of Frey-Chu. Unfortunately, without access to the profile, it's not possible to know more about the person or their professional experiences. So right off the bat, Perplexity.ai is unable to read my LinkedIn page. While Perplexity wasn't able to read my LinkedIn, I basically clicked on these related prompts right here, and it actually now pulls my LinkedIn profile and is able to read it. Seems like Perplexity has the ability to read a URL, but you have to kind of dig for it a little bit deeper. I didn't expect them to be the best, to be completely honest. I think they're way more useful for general queries. If you just typed in, hey, what's the best camera for under $500? Those kind of general queries are way more interesting in Perplexity. But something more personal like a LinkedIn, gonna have to give it the thumbs down for now. Here's the second prompt. Okay. This looks a little bit long, so this is what I'm gonna do. We got the good old stopwatch. Dear Frey-Chu, I was impressed by your experience in fintech and your current role as the head of business operations at Mercury, as our website redesign services include a So that took 23 seconds just to get through half of that email. It's weird because typically ChatGPT is actually pretty good at following the prompt parameters, but it gave me a couple doozies here. First, the subject line, way too long and not very personable. Due to the hallucination that I had with the first prompt, the first sentence is just totally wrong. The second sentence does a good job of telling the prospect what you can do for them. Overall, it's just really too long. Breaks that 15-second rule. Now let's go over to Copy.ai and give it the prompt. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's not bad at all. I think it's a little bit long, right? It's kind of got the same issue as ChatGPT. But what I do like about this email is saying, hey, I noticed, and then inserts a personal fact about them. As far as scanning a URL, this is definitely the best so far. While Copy.ai does hallucinate to some degree, it's definitely still the most accurate by far, and it's able to use that information and remember that going forward as you ask it for more prompts. Now it's Perplexity's turn. After feeding the second prompt, it says, Dear Fei Chu, I came across your LinkedIn profile and was impressed by your experience in email marketing and SEO. The biggest beef I have with this specific output is the tone is really robotic. As a website redesign service provider, we understand the importance of a website. This last prompt gave me an idea. What if we could actually ask it to create these emails to sound more casual, conversational, maybe closer to someone that we know is a really good writer? One of those writers is Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a. We're gonna write a different prompt. We're gonna say, rewrite this email in the tone and style of Mark Manson. This is ChatGPT's response to this. It's a little bit long, but it's kind of funny. See, this is where ChatGPT shines, right? If you're selling design services, copywriting, SEO, I think this is totally acceptable. Maybe you shave off a little bit so it's not so long. Personally, I would respond to an email like this over an email like the Perplexity one any single day of the week. Let's give this to Copy.ai now. Hey there, I hope you're doing well. I want to touch base with you about the content we discussed for your website. As you know, creating great content requires a lot of research, thinking, and expertise. Okay, a little bit underwhelming. I kind of expected a little bit more from Copy.ai. I think the biggest problem here is that the tone of this email kind of assumes that we're like too close. There's less like, here's what we can do for you, and hey, you know, we're gonna get along so great, your website's gonna look fantastic. You know, we're so good at what we do, we're experts, so I can't wait to start this project. It's like a little bit too presumptuous. A second try didn't really help that much. I think as far as tone and style, ChatGPT still kind of hit it on the nail. Now going to Perplexity.ai, let's give it a try. Hey Frey, I stumbled upon your LinkedIn profile and I was impressed by your experience in email marketing and SEO. As someone who turns words into dollars, I understand the importance of a website. I think it's a little bit better than the last one, but it definitely doesn't resemble the Mark Manson that we really wanted to. Another thing is that it's just weird. As someone who turns words into dollars, I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm just giving these guys a hard time, but not good enough to be usable, but good enough to take small bits of inspiration. Not great on tone, not great on factual correctness. It's just okay. Okay, now the last prompt here is we're going to ask it to create a sequence, and this is for situations where they just don't respond. Typically, email marketing is not one where you'll just hit a sale on the first one, right? So you want to be persistent, continue to check in, and that's what we're going to ask it to do. Let's do ChatGPT first. These are pretty solid. ChatGPT produced one that starts off with, hey, just a quick follow-up on my email. Are you still interested? I like the subject lines a lot better in this one. It says, don't miss out on our website redesign offer. Basically keeps it really short to say, hey, just checking in case you forgot about us. Are you still interested in this? If you are, I'd love to chat. The fourth email subject line is great, limited time offer, website redesign services. So it gives you an idea of, hey, if they're at all kind of on the fence, you can try to use a discount or a limited time offer to try to reel them in to see if that garners any interest. I wouldn't start the sentence off by, this is our final email in our sequence. I would just say, hey, this is the last time I'll bug you about our redesign services. I'd love to help. In case you're interested, let's schedule a call. So here's Copy.ai. We have first email, checking in. Just wanted to follow up on my previous email to see if you had some time to chat about your website redesign needs. Perfectly good. That's solid. This is the third and final email I'll be sending if you're still interested. Last chance, I want to give you one last chance to discuss your design needs. I don't like how the third email says third and final follow-up, and then it continues to do 2 more emails. You'd probably have to write a prompt that corrects this and says, hey, don't include in the subject line that it's the final follow-up unless you're at the very last email. The other thing with these is that it can end the emails with a question rather than saying, hey, looking forward to working with you. You always want to end in a question, right? You want to always ask them a question to see if they'll engage. But for the first output, not bad, not bad. Last is Perplexity.ai. Quick follow-up, I hope this email finds you well. I want to follow up with our previous email. I want to check in and see if you have any questions. We'd love to help you improve our website. Okay, I like that. Okay, so the subject lines are just second, third follow-up, fourth follow-up. Obviously not ideal, right? 4, I don't want to be a pest, but I wanted to follow up one last time. 5th, I haven't heard back from you, so I'm assuming you're not interested in our website redesign services. If you change your mind, feel free to reach out. I actually really like what we have here, especially that 4th and 5th email. You're almost also reinforcing this fact that, hey, I'm busy. I'm not going to continue chasing you, but if you're interested, then let me know. If they express a little bit of interest and then they ghost you, which happens pretty often, it's a really good idea to follow up with email and say, if this project is important for you, then let me know. Now let's talk about some takeaways. Copy.ai, without a doubt, has the greatest ability to read a LinkedIn URL. It was able to get the most accurate information on my LinkedIn without hallucinating or getting factual errors. It said that I went to UC Riverside when I did not go to UC Riverside. But other than that, the skills and the summary that it provided with the LinkedIn URL that I gave it was very, very accurate to who I am as a person. ChatGPT and Perplexity, on the other hand, could not read the information, or if they did, it was just super wrong. It was on mushrooms or something. It was hallucinating. ChatGPT, on the other hand, has such a way with words, It's like almost a poet. It's just so smooth. It almost reminds me of, John Mayer on the guitar. It's just so effortless in its ability to mimic someone's style and tone. Perplexity is probably the least impressive out of all these. I kind of knew going in that it had the underdog stamp on top of it, but it did do pretty well kind of towards the end when we asked it to create sequences of emails. So what does this all mean, and what do I actually suggest going forward now that I've played with these different tools? First off, if we're just talking about functionality and not price, then you can use different types of chatbots for different purposes. Like for my full-time job, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn doing prospecting and cold emails. If I need to very quickly write a personal email and I want to scan someone's LinkedIn URL, you bet your butt I'm going to go with Copy.ai. I would then take the summary that it gave me, feed it into ChatGPT to create the style and tone of who I'm writing it to, right? I will leave a link for Copy.ai down below if you want to try it out. It is a paid software. They also have a ton of other tools, like over 90 different AI tools. So you're kind of like getting a whole full suite solution of AI tools there. Perplexity is free, so definitely go check that out. I'll leave a link down there below. They have a great Chrome extension that I'll probably make a video about in the future. And of course, ChatGPT, you know where to find them. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I try to spend a little bit of time each week looking at different AI stuff as it relates to sales and marketing specifically. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. Peace.